Hello everyone, and I'm back with 90D's final review. And it was a field test where I was in Masai Mara, the amazing trip to Masai Mara, and 90D is tested there on the field. Now is the time when we talk about each and every aspect of 90D one by one. The first and foremost aspect of 90D is the brand new sensor. The brand new sensor from Canon, and it is 32 megapixel. That makes 90D the most pixel dense camera in APS-C category in the market right now. This 32 megapixel, the the sheer resolution of this sensor really helps when you capture something and you need to crop later in the post processing, or you need to capture all the details which the subject has and print it to the bigger size. So what do you mean by the details? Here is the example, and you can see the details. So this is the 100%, and we are viewing it on the 4K monitor right now, and this is how the 32 megapixel performs. So this 32 megapixel sensor with Canon's Digic 8 processor is meant for faster focus and faster speed. So let's jump on to the speed of the camera. 90D blazing fast, 10 fps. Yes, through the viewfinder obviously, and from the LCD screen you can shoot up to 11 fps, which is faster enough for wildlife. There is always some other action happening in the field, and you need to capture that action. To capture that action, faster is your camera, the fps, that means the shooting speed of the camera, frames per second. More number of action shots you will get. So with the subject tracking, this camera from the viewfinder is 10 fps, and from LCD screen with subject tracking it is still a very good speed, which is 7 fps. The next important aspect for a camera is the autofocus performance, and 90D is absolutely wonderful when it comes to autofocusing. There are a lot of new things which Canon added in this camera, which is for the first time in any camera. So let's talk about the autofocusing part. So when we talk about 90D, there are two aspects to autofocusing. One is through the optical viewfinder, and the other is from LCD screen. Now let's talk about the viewfinder, because there are a lot of new things which you will see in the viewfinder focusing. Canon has implemented 220,000 pixel metering sensor. What do you mean by metering sensor? Now this sensor, this metering sensor will help you in focusing from the viewfinder with the help of ITR, that is intelligent tracking, which Canon, this ITR was very much there since 5D Mark III or 7D Mark II, but now it has far more improved than the previous cameras. And how it is improved? The first thing, 220,000 pixel metering sensor. Now this metering data, this sensor captures the color and depth information, and this information is sent to the camera in order to achieve the focus. So by implementing this from the viewfinder focusing, you can also use face detect autofocus. That is, it can also detect the faces of the people from the viewfinder, from the optical viewfinder. Yes, this is something new, and it really works well not only with the people's faces, but it is also working with the animals. I have tried that, and I have implemented ITR, that is intelligent tracking, with automatically AF point selection method. So if we combine these two with AI servo, what happens is your subject, once you lock the focus on it, your camera takes care of tracking the subject. Automatically, the focus points will be selected and shifted as your subject moves, just like dual pixel CMOS AF works from the LCD screen. So I have taken few images when there was this leopard, famous leopard from Masai Mara, the Koboso. The Koboso female was walking right towards me, and I was shooting with ITR, that is intelligent tracking, and with automatic selection of AF point. So I have selected my initial focus point on the leopard, on the head of the leopard, and then I just kept on shooting, and camera was beautifully tracking the leopard throughout as it walked towards me. So 90D's AF consists of 45 cross type points. So all these 45 points are cross type and they are sensitive up to f8. So f8 means you can also use a teleconverter combination with your say 300 f4. You can use 1.4x converter. You can still get the aperture of 5.6 and you can still use the complete functionality of these 45 autofocus points. Not only this, you can also put in an 2x converter and still all the 45 autofocus point will work. Now let's jump on to the LCD screen now. Yes. So while autofocusing from the LCD screen or from the live view mode of 90D, you get Canon's trusted dual pixel CMOS AF. And trust me, you won't go wrong with Canon's dual pixel CMOS AF. It is one of the best tracking AF in live view when mirror is not there. So there also you get a face detection, that is the people face detection mode. Now second very important and the newly added mode is eye detect AF. And I used eye detect AF when I was vlogging, and you can see how well it was tracking my eye continuously. Even I was moving in the frame, but still it was tracking my eye properly without any issues. So this eye detect AF is working wonderfully well. When we talk about autofocusing from LCD screen, this LCD screen is a swivel type. So you can rotate the LCD screen and you can shoot at lower angles even without looking through the viewfinder. Touch to autofocus function from the LCD screen really helps here. Once you touch it, if your autofocus is set to AF tracking method and your subject is moving, rest all is taken care by dual pixel CMOS AF, and it wonderfully tracks your subject all through the frame. When I started reviewing 90D, there were a lot of questions about high ISO performance of this camera, and as I said earlier, please do not compare this camera with any full frame cameras because this is still an APS-C crop sensor body. Remember that. On the top of that, you will also have to note one thing, and that is the pixel density. 32 megapixel on a crop sensor, you are getting more details, but yes, you will have to be very careful when it comes to high ISO. The noise is more, yes, but with the noise, the subject details are also very great. So if you apply noise reduction, you can still get a very usable image. I'm talking about ISOs of 3200 and more here. Up to 1600 ISOs, I don't see any issue with 90D as of now. And there is a noise at 1600 ISO, yes, but acceptable noise. In post-production, you can reduce this noise to great extent to get a very usable image. Up to ISO 800 or ISO 1000, there is absolutely no problem with this camera at all. Let's come to the video part of 90D. There are a lot of video functionality which Canon has added to this mighty new camera. And the first, one of the most important thing which Canon has given into this camera is a 4K without a crop. Yes, you are hearing it right. So you get a full angle of view of your lens when you shoot in 4K. And also there is an option if you want to crop. Yes, you have got the option to select the crop mode when you shoot in 4K. So now in 4K you can use dual pixel CMOS AF, which is very good in tracking, and it really works wonderfully well when shooting videos. I have shot some 4K videos. The footage will be there in the video in this video, and you can see yourself the quality of it. Because of the swivel LCD screen, 4K without a crop, touch screen, dual pixel CMOS AF, subject tracking from LCD screen, this camera is a wonderful solution for vlogging. Yes, my friends, I have used vlogging for quite some time, and I found this camera to be a perfect contender for video logging. So this is first vlog on the new Canon's new 90D, and to check the focus functionality. And by the way, I'm shooting on the kit lens 18135, and the eye focusing is switched on, and I can see how well and effectively it is tracking my eye, and it is pretty much, yeah, it's doing its job really well. I'm here now, I'm going into shadows, and how well the exposure is adjusted here. So I'm here in Camp Marawalapa, and with this new 90D I'll be testing few videos here. I'll be testing the aspect of video logging with this 90D here. One of the most interesting feature is the video EOS, which is there, and you can use this electronic EOS in 4K mode as well. There is a IAF which is included, and then there is face tracking. So right now currently I'm seeing myself in the screen, and very well the IAF is acting, and it's not jumping all across. It is pretty much accurate and pretty much locked onto my left eye, and my face is tracked continuously. And I'm here at the back. You can see the beautiful savannas, the plains are here, and let's walk and let's see how well this is. I'll just explain my setup. As of now, I just have a small gorilla pod, and my camera is mounted on that, and I'm completely hand holding it. And you can see how well this electronic EOS is working in the movie mode. I used this camera briefly for video logging when I was there in Masai Mara, and the tracking, especially the eye detect focus, when I was shooting my own video, the LCD screen was swiveled completely towards me, and I was shooting handheld. So while shooting handheld, there is a great chance that the footage will get shake. But now, apart from the image stabilization which is there inside the lens, there is also electronic stabilization inside the body, and it really helps when you handheld the camera. You can swivel the LCD towards you and you can mount it on the short tripod or something, and you can shoot your own video log test too. And we are here in the savannas again testing this 90D, and you can see I'm hand holding this camera, and I'm really impressed with the IAF, how it is implemented in 90D and how accurate it is. It is still, it is still focusing well. This dual pixel CMOS AF with this IAF tracking, in my opinion, this is for video logging, this is one of the best features. You can see there are some zebras in the background. Oh yeah, zebras. You can see how beautiful are the savannas, the grasslands. Now let's answer some questions which I have got during my previous videos which I posted on social media. So I received a lot of questions, but the majority of questions were revolving around 3 points, and we'll discuss those 3 points here. The first one, I'm there in the market to buy a camera, buy an APS-C camera, because maybe they want the crop factor advantage. And the question was where to go for 70 Mark II or 90D. And my answer is very simple. The answer is 90D. Much newer technology and much more features in terms of video, in terms of photography, in terms of AF, and speed of the camera, that is FPS, is almost the same. The both 70 Mark II and 90D shoots at 10 FPS. So my answer to this question is, if you are there in the market for APS-C camera and you need that crop factor advantage, that is 1.6 crop factor, I would suggest go for 90D. The only difference between 90D and 70 Mark II is the card slot. 70 Mark II has got 2 card slots and 90D has got 1. But nowadays you get larger memory cards like 64 GB or 128 GB. So I don't see that is really a limitation when it comes to cards. So 1.6x crop factor, that is, if you attach a 400mm lens, it will be almost 640mm. It will give you a reach of 640mm, and that is the beauty. 640mm with just a 400mm lens with 32 megapixel data or 32 megapixel image at 640mm, you can still crop it and get very close to the subject, or you can pull out a very close-up photograph of your subject. Say if it's a small bird, this camera is just perfect for the job. The next question was what are the lenses you used with this camera, and how was the performance? So I used 100-400, I used 500 f4, which is a prime lens. I used 100-400 lens, IS2 lens with 1.4x teleconverter. I also used 500 f4 with 1.4x teleconverter, and both the lenses with a teleconverter combination really performed well. Autofocus was tiny bit slower, but it was perfect, it was accurate, it was fast enough to shoot action. Autofocus went slower when I used 2x converter on my 500 f4 lens. But the best part was the subject tracking was still happening. And the last part is, who should look for this camera? Who should look for buying this camera? And the answer is, if you have a full frame camera like 1DX Mark II or say 5D Mark IV or EOS R and you're looking for a second body, this is the best option by far. Secondly, if you are there in the market to buy an APS-C body, that crop factor advantage, you want that crop factor advantage and you are there in the market to purchase a body for bird photography, say, this is a very good option, I would say. Cause not only speed, the AF accuracy, the autofocus functionality of this camera, and the crop factor is the best combination for bird photography. Three, if you are there in the market for a camera which is good for vlogging, I guess this is the right camera. Cause as I said, the LCD screen, touch to focus, dual pixel CMOS AF tracking, and 4K without a crop. I guess this is the best combination any video logger will look for. So we are at the end of our review of 90D, and I'll be putting up some of the examples I've shot, some of the images I have shot with 90D, some of the videos I have taken, some of the video logging I have done with 90D. Everything will be there in this video. So any questions or any opinions about this video, you can comment below or send me an email at sagar@sgpventures.in. Thank you for now, and hopefully I'll be coming up with more such videos, more such reviews, or more such tips and tricks regarding photography, bird photography, wildlife photography. So thank you for watching this video.